Hey everyone, this is Mr. Martin, and I'm here to introduce you to the Constellations Activity. I'm sorry I can't be with you today. I've had something else come up, so I want to just kind of walk you through what you're going to do and give you some instructions to begin with. Point out a couple of things that will be important for you to know. So first of all, if you look around the room today, you will see that there are a number of constellations on display. We've got Virgo and Libra, and then Scorpio, or Scorpius, as it's called. Sagittarius. And we go past the pale blue dot here to Capricorn, and then Aquarius. Past the psycho clock to Pisces, Aries, and then over here, Taurus. And along the way, we will also see Orion, which, unlike the other constellations shown, is not part of the zodiac, but is provided for reference. We've got Gemini. Then over here, we have Cancer and Leo, and that takes us back to Virgo. So, constellations of the zodiac all around the room. What you're going to do is you're going to walk around and you're going to record what you see. And the main instrument you will use for this is this map that is in the packet that you'll pick up. Now, this map has 12 boxes around the outer circle, and these correspond to the 12 constellations of the zodiac. Orion is also there, provided for reference, so you get an idea of where to start. Basically, to fill this out, just point the paper in such a way that the part labeled Orion points at the constellation Orion, and kind of fill it in from there. Now, in the middle of the room, which I do not have up yet, you will see the sun. Okay? Be on a big pole. You can kind of see that. So the center of the room represents the sun. The constellations on the walls represent the celestial sphere and the locations of the constellations. And then the outer perimeter of the room that you would walk around represents the path of the Earth as it travels around. So, as you're going around, say from Virgo, and then you're over here at Leo, and then Cancer, and then Gemini, and then Orion. Wait a minute, something is wrong. I'm going the opposite direction now that I did before. One of those two directions is incorrect, and you're going to have to figure out which one that is. That's part of the assignment. Anyway, part of what I'm going to have you do, we'll zip on over here. Sorry this is so bouncy and moving around doing this on my phone, because that's what I have. So here you will see 4 of these events. 2 solstices, one of which is coming up, one of which passed recently, and 2 equinoxes, one of which is coming up very soon. And if we go back to your map here, you'll see there are 4 boxes in the interior, that inner circle. That represents the positions that those 4 events line up at. Now, in order to make this all make sense, one critically important thing to understand is the way that the constellations and the signs, if you will, the astrological signs are determined. So the way that the ancients reckoned time had to do with where the sun appeared to be with respect to the background stars. Part of what that means is that you can't actually see those stars at the time in question. So let's say that you are an Aquarius, and Aquarius was over here someplace. Tell you what, I have an overturned chair here. This is going to represent the sun, okay? That's the sun. So looking over here at Aquarius, okay? And if I'm in like the outer track of the room, and I'm over here next to where Aquarius is, okay? If you are an Aquarius, this is not where the Earth is when you are born, okay? If you're born when the Earth is over here, you actually have to look at the sun and what it's obscuring. And if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that the sun is actually in the constellation Leo at that time, okay? So if you're an Aquarius, then rather than being over here by Aquarius, you're going to go all the way around and, uh-oh, I'm going the opposite direction again, but you're going to come all the way over here to where that chair that is set up, which represents the sun, is now in front of Aquarius, okay? So if you're born under the sign of Aquarius, whatever dates those are, I don't even know, what that means is you cannot see the constellation Aquarius on your birthday. It's where the sun would appear to be if you could see the constellations behind it, which of course you can't because the sun is too bright, okay? So, why are we talking about all this? Well, here's what you need to do. First of all, on this first page, there are a number of instructions. Please read them carefully. Failure to do so will probably result in you having everything exactly backwards, okay? Once you've read through the instructions, pay particular attention to this paragraph with the 2 bullet points near the bottom. This has to do with equinoxes and solstices, and it gives you a hint about where the Earth is with respect to the sun and the constellations when a couple of those things happen. If you can get those things in order, that will help you to do everything else, okay? So, once you've done that, once you've read through the instructions, then you will walk around, carry this with you, and fill in all of the constellations in the appropriate order as you go. After that, I'm going to have you go back to this front page. And on the front page, down at the very bottom, and a lot of people miss this the first time, it asks you to identify 3 constellations that would be visible in the night sky for each of those dates. So let's say that on the date of this spring equinox, and this is not in any way, shape, or form the right answer, but let's say that on the date of the spring equinox, the sun is kind of lined up with the constellation Aries, okay? If this were true, and it's not, I'm telling you it's not, but if it were true, could you see Aries on the date of the spring equinox? The answer is no. What could you see? Well, to answer that question, you turn around and look at what's behind you. Well, there's Libra directly behind me. I could see that. Scorpius, I could see that. Virgo is over there. I could see that. Leo's over there. I might be able to see it. It's tilted the wrong way. Similarly, Sagittarius is over here. You might be able to see that. But identify 3 constellations you can see at each of those points. Okay? And again, sorry, this is so wiggly. Once you've done that and you filled in the outer ring on your map with the names of constellations, and the 4 events in the inner ring. What I'm going to ask you to do, if you're one of the first 4 groups to figure that out, is to come over and grab one of these things, summer solstice, let's say, and some tape. Take a piece of tape and then tape the sign for summer solstice where it goes. And where it goes means where is the Earth at that point. So again, if you're convinced that, say, the spring equinox takes place when the sun is in Aries, what you would do is turn around to where you're standing, which would be kind of right here by Libra, and just tape the sign right there. Okay? All right. Once you've accomplished all of those things, then there are some questions on the back to answer. Okay? The first question has to do with your astrological sign. The second question, which is one of the big ideas that you should be getting from this, which way does the Earth travel around the sun, clockwise or counterclockwise? It asks you to explain why you chose that answer. This explanation must come from the map that you have drawn. Something on the map should point out what you are. In fact, all of these questions should be based on something from the map. You should not need any kind of external information to do this. And my experience has been that if you are using external information, you're going to get things wrong. Okay? On question 4, one additional piece of information that might be helpful. If you've taken Earth science, you've talked about this at some point, but the orbit of the Earth wobbles as the Earth spins. It's kind of like a top that's beginning to slow down, and that's called precession, which means that the North Pole kind of traces a circle on the sky over a certain amount of time. That information plus what's provided in question 4 should help you to answer that. So your job for today, walk around, make your map, answer the questions, turn it in by the end of the class period. I'll go over it, and we may spend a little bit of time on Friday talking about it. Anyway, I hope you have a great day today. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.